They weren't in first place, right?
Yeah,
we look over and Tayson is in first place. 13 eliminations, right? So again, remember, we are all so used to seeing majors, right? We're sitting in our own region comfortable, but these are some of the best trios in the world. How are we putting up double-digit eliminations in game one?
This is the same guy, by the way, who started the day saying, yeah, I'm going to give the win to other people. What was he waffling about, mate? He is on fire right now. They win the off-spawn. It's a close one. It's a tight one. But Tayson clutched up big, and then they go on to just win the outright game. Again, it's why it's so heartbreaking we're seeing them fight off-spawn. They can go with it from having this game to not even getting to play through the next game, right? They might just end up having to watch for half an hour. But this is...
Yeah, I mean, incredible stuff, right? Talking about that all spawn. I kind of mentioned, hey, when you win this all spawn, it's not always going to happen where you have all three alive, and they had that happen, right? No stalling of the early game, and then, oh my gosh, Cheat Show just putting on an absolute clinic. You're a duo, and you look up and you see three people on the high ground. You see that they're only connected by one wood floor. You have the confidence to not only go ahead and pressure the team on the high ground, but then not two of them while they're falling from the high ground. Chicho just showing us the aim in full force.
I mean, this is where I start to really look at the Global Championships and things get interesting for me, because I think a lot of people were expecting in this first game for Hype to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, we know EU teams like to play with it. We know Queasy's team love to play for it early. We know Vanya's team can do it as well. In this game, it was Queasy's team that had set up. Kazi's team ended up taking it from them, and so Chicho and them are looking up. They might be, or probably been expecting it to be more reinforced, right? Chicho's probably looking up thinking, Queasy's probably up there. He looks up and he's like, hold on a minute. Single with tile, man, let's chop this down. And it's so opportunistic, but it's exactly what you need in a lobby like this. You have to take opportunities when they come to you.
Oh my gosh, so absolutely beautiful. Man, as we start to head down this live list though, Vico, Veno, Flixie tied up with Chap, Reason, and Mr. Savage.
Wow.
You know, there's just so many incredible moments. I feel like anytime we cut to a different trio, it's just like, hey, this trio's popping off. They're pushing what trio? They're doing what? Like, this is such an exciting time in Fortnite. Once again, I'm going to keep saying it all weekend long, man. Bringing together 7 regions and making them fight. It is spectacular.
I mean, this game looks so good for Veno, Flixie, and Vico. Honestly, I thought they were going to go ahead and win it because, you know, come around to, I believe it was like 9th zone, it actually pulled to the southeast, and they were already kind of primed up, ready to go ahead, full force, grab the front side of moving, and they did. But for some reason, when they got there, they just had nothing left in the gas tank. They couldn't defend the position. They couldn't pick up the eliminations nor the refreshes in time for them to stay alive as a trio. As you can see here, still the individual performances from Vico and Veno still picking up enough points to put them high up on that leaderboard. But man, if they could have just stayed alive for a little bit longer as a trio, they could have won that game.
Yeah, you talked about Vico's confidence coming into the competition, and it was good to see him in his element, not shying away from the stage, not shying away from the bright lights. In that game, there was a couple moments in that end game where it almost felt like they had to tell him to chill a little bit. I saw him trying to like run into boxes a bit too much. But when Vico's confident and he's firing and he's flying like that, he is going to be a big, big problem for anybody in this lobby who even gives him an inch of room to fight.
Dude, I mean, also, you know, we kind of touched on it earlier about height. The way Queasy had that kind of early game, right, getting obviously we knew that they're uncontested, but having the queen spawn, I'm thinking, bro, this is it, game over. I mean, and things didn't quite go that way.
It was unfortunate because the setup looked primed for a classic Queasy hype win. It just looked so set up perfectly, but Vivid, an unfortunate zone pull. We've seen it happen. You know, it's a part of the game. Of course, as a pro team, you are doing everything you can to mitigate any possible RNG, but sometimes the zones just don't pull your way. And I think that was really the thing that sort of forced them to have to not be able to play high in this one. Still, very good intentions from them throughout that game.
Oh, yeah, 100%, right? It was actually a high ground take, right? We saw them as picks up on the high ground. They had it pretty secured, and then I was like, oh my God, it's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's Queasy and co. They launch padded right over, landed on top of them, had it convincingly. And like Levin was talking about, right? The zone was incredible. It was like 7th zone. Every single team was on the east side of it, right? They were chilling. There was this big body of water. All the way on the west side, there was one set of arrows. Just one little set of purple arrows, and that was Kato's trio from the Brazilian region. and the zone pulled west. So they just had high ground for free, and Freeze are like, yeah, you guys are lucky. I'm not going to go for that, but man, I'm going to hit socials after that one.
And I mean, there was a point where I thought they might even try to retake it, right? Because Queasy gets the fizz, like he sees the loot, gets the fizz, he has his crash pad. I'm thinking, maybe they go for it, this can still happen. But look, again, it's like what I said, intentions, right? You see that they're coming here to play their game. They're not shying away from doing what they do best. Queasy, Mustache, and Swizzy, we have definitely not heard the end of it from them.
Guys, there's a trio I'm not seeing in this top 10 right now. And we thought they were going to be triple contested, but turns out they decided to land on the train, kick things off. Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. And before we go any further, I just want to tip my hat to Victor V. Peterbot decided, let me get a little crazy right now. We got to knock, let's push things. Victor V said, excuse me, this is a global stage, friend. Knocks him back down, and then from that point forward, boys, they're just kind of trying to piece things together. Shambles all game?
This might be a concern, right? Because if the plan from these guys was, hey, look, we're going to land outside the POI, get looted up a bit, and go in third party. We know those guys are going to take a bit of time to find the story. Let's go in third party. We're Peterbot, we're Cold, we're Ritual. This will be an easy cleanup crew. If that was your plan, and the first game goes like that, do you start rethinking things a little bit? Do you start thinking, okay, maybe this isn't an easy of a flight to clean up as we thought, because they got rocked in there.
I mean, yeah, everything in game number one is perfect. Like Levin's talking about, one of the teams that was fighting there, they got knocked, right? There was only a solo left. Peterbot, they waited till the right time to go ahead and make that push in. Victor V, Paper, they were resin Epic Whale. They had the knock, and then Pete just kind of goes in solo, right? Imagine if Pete would have just waited like 5 seconds for Ritual and Cold to kind of show up right there. So I think the game plan is still good, right? It already shows that it works. I think the execution of actually picking up the eliminations was...
Execution is never the problem. No, the problem coming into this weekend was going to be, what's the idea? Are they just going to, ride out triple gun? Are they going to go do a team chat? Are they going to try to play? We know the idea now. The execution has to be the easy part. I do agree with you, though. I think as long as they don't allow that first game being a bit rocky to rattle them, things should still look good for them along the course of the 12 games.
And that's exactly what I'm worried about, right? After first game, if I'm Peterbot, Cold, Ritual, I'm thinking, okay, hold on a minute. Why did you go off by yourself? What? Now we're having to try and play catch up this whole game.
Yeah.
Some players in that moment, that's it. Tournament's done. They can't they have to wait for day number 2 to try and get those mentions back in track. Yeah. But this is still Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual, right? This is still a world-class trio. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that they can kind of bounce back after that game. But there was also just so many different things happening. Yeah. Is there any kind of other moments that kind of stand out to you? I think for me, just again, kind of cutting around, being like, wait, these guys are near each other. There's a bunch of fights happening in zone. Yeah. A bunch of just crazy shots on players in the sky the entire time. Oh my gosh.
I mean, look, before there were a lot of things we can get to, right? I do just want to one last time just big up Victor V there.
Yes.
Right? Because I think there's a lot of players who, maybe if it was 2024, right, when we saw what Peterbot and Poyo were doing there, there was a lot of players who back then would have just rolled over and just let it happen. I'm going to go down here, the shotgun's in my face, what can I do? Victor V said, no. I am that guy. If you want to fight me, I'm going to show you a fight.
Yeah, I like the fact that you kind of go ahead and point it out, because now kind of thinking back to her, right, Epic Whale, of course, got knocked by Ritual. They knew that was Pete coming. Yeah. So Victor V definitely stepped up big right there. Didn't care at all, just to edit 148, finish him off with one AR shot. Incredible stuff. Way to kind of rise to the occasion. And, Zeke instantly kind of saw that moment. He was like, oh, dude, Pop is going crazy somewhere.
Dude, I mean, again, this is a global stage, right? In those moments where you are kind of put in a situation where it's like, are you going to fail or are you going to rise to the occasion? For Victor V, he rose, and now just think, that's just game number 1. What else is he going to look to bring in these future games with that nice little boost of confidence?
Now, that being said, right, you kind of mentioned, hey, we don't see a team in the top 10. We don't see a couple teams in the top 10, right? Peterbot's not up there. Epic Whale's not up there. Finally, we see them in 13th place right there. A team that is definitely surprising. We have to talk about it. 17. Acorn, Aders, and Poyo. 16 points in game number 1. I mean, honestly, with Fortnite, there's some really saw exactly what happened to them that game, but middle of the game, we kind of see them up in the top left go down, and we're like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah, a bit of a rocky one, right? We don't exactly know what happened. We did see in the feed, though, Acorn had gone down, then it was up to Ages and Poyo to sort of fend off. Poyo ends up actually, winning the fight on his own, right? He gets the last couple of eliminations, and so they win the fight, but they lose the walk, right? Because then it's Poyo left as a solo. It was always going to be a tough one from that point in the game to clutch it up. Even though we know Poyo can, have a clutch or two in him, I think the big thing again is it's just first game, right?
Yeah.
We're all hyped. We're all excited. Canada on the stage is excited, right?
Yeah,
He's got that first win. He's
yes.
feeling good. He's like, I won the first game. I'm winning the whole thing. But it is just one of 12 games.
Yeah.
You still have so much of your history to write right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint, and it's interesting, too, kind of going back to Poyo, because there was that moment in, like, the mid-game, we kind of saw them pushing the lone player. They immediately find someone on their own. They go, hey, it's not just me going. We're all jumping on this. We're going to burn a little bit of what we have. We're going to start kind of packing up with Surge, kind of setting that up. Let's take their stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, things just kind of fell apart. I do agree, though. Knowing this trio, I do feel like it's first game jitters. Right, again, this crowd takes things to a little bit of a different level. So I'm expecting a strong bounce back in game number 2, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that play in particular you mentioned is interesting, right? Because we know in a Fizz crash pad meta, a lot of the top EU and NA teams are going to be making those plays non-stop, right? They're going to be scouting, they're going to be aware, they're going to know, okay, we can jump on this guy right now. If you are one of those, teams who's from one of the smaller regions, it might be almost a bit of a shock for you at times, right? Yeah. Because they're used to being the big fish on their region, right? Yeah. Like all the players we have here from Middle East, Asia, Brazil, OC, they're used to being the guys of the lobby. And so when you walk into a lobby like this, you have a lot of players who might not give you that type of respect here. Gotta be ready for that.
Now that being said, I was saw on the standings, we had 2 Brazilian teams in the top 10.
They were moving.
Right? King, Phaser, they were up there. We kind of saw them make it to the end game, and I swear, I think that NA experience that they got did such a good job of helping them out, because it was like in NA, every single time we kind of saw them kind of make it to the end game, they were always as a trio. They do such a good job of making it to the end game as a trio, right? They'll kind of make it around to like that 10th place in the game, and then continuing after that, it's kind of the development that they need. But hey, top 10 right now, pretty good.
That's right. Now that was just game number 1. As we continue to prepare for the competition, why don't we hear from the players on their thoughts with the competition and the enemy trios on the other side?
I think this is probably one of the most stacked lobbies there's ever been.
All these teams that are here had to be the top of the competition.
そうですね。それはやっぱ世界で一番トップだと思います。
People get better every single year. This lobby feels super stacked. It's FNCS. I heard there's over 140 FNCS wins.
Over 12 games, really the best players are going to come out.
There's a lot more respected players here, so it's definitely more tough.
I think our biggest competition would be Cold's team. Individually, they're like the best players in the world.
وبرضو عندي تيم بويو وإيكورن وإيجرز من أفضل التيم اللي موجودة بالجلوبال.
Poyo's team is such a threat because they've been on top of the scene throughout the past year.
Acorn is probably the greatest IGL of all time. He's so smart and just knows what to do in any situation.
You got like the EU goats, Taze and Queasy. Queasy's just like, he's a veteran, always making the right calls and just finds all the young prodigy.
I think they're like the NA version of Cold's team, so like they're all individually good.
Looking at a player like Flixie, I think he has just everything. He has good aim, good mechanics, he's smart.
I think Canada Rapid Bolt is probably going to be like a very underdog team.
They have really good chemistry as a trio.
Vanyag, Marios, and Pixie.
They got third, first, and third in the EU FNCS this whole year. They've been playing very well.
An underdog team that I think will do good is Pix, Demus, and Darn.
I think Kami might surprise everyone because he has a long-term spot. I think he's going to do well.
The top teams are way better because you have like the top teams from every single region.
My surprise Dark Horse top 10 team would probably be Rue's trio. I'd say they're my sneaky top 10 pick.
From the Brazil region, I think the biggest threats are King's trio. I think they're going to shock people.
Alex's trio is the best in OC because they're the most aggressive.
Kyoto, like one of the best fighters in the world, so we'll see what he has to bring.
He's been getting a lot of hype, but like it honestly still might not be enough.
All the Asia boys, like they're nuts.
I think that's the most hard level of competition ever.
All the people that have qualified really deserve to qualify.
The level of competition doesn't get higher than us.
Everything like before this has definitely led up to this.
We got here against all odds. We made it.
We're gonna definitely put on a show.